Hello everyone. I just thought that I would make a little quick video today and talk about a book I have coming out at the end of this month. It's called Traveling the Fairy Path. It is the third and final book in my Fairy Witchcraft series. The first one is Pagan Portal's Fairy Witchcraft. The second one is Fairycraft. So then Traveling the Fairy Path is the third one. It's a little bit different than the other two. The first one, of course, is just a basic introduction to what my personal approach to witchcraft is, which is sort of a blend of neo-pagan witchcraft, early modern witchcraft, and the Celtic fairy faith. The second one is a longer book, and it's more in-depth and gets into the specific beliefs and practices associated with it, what I call fairy witchcraft or fairycraft. This third one is a little bit different. I meant it to be more of an advanced sort of book. It's obviously really hard to write an advanced book on this particular subject, so it's less of a how-to and more of a me offering some suggestions on what I would recommend for people who want to move further into this particular practice and are interested in moving beyond just the basic spiritual observances and the more, I don't want to keep saying basic because the word basic kind of has some negative connotations, and I don't mean it that way at all. But the simpler, we'll put it that way, magical folk practices, and into things that are a little more in-depth, a little more complicated. I talk in here about my own journey in this spirituality. I talk about some of the more advanced practices that you can do with dream work, guided meditations, journeys. I talk about some of the ballad material, not just Tamlin and Thomas the Rhymer, which are sort of the more common things that you see people discussing when fairy ballads come up, but also like believe I have in here. I want to check before I actually say this, but I get into things like the Fairy Oak of Coreywater is in there. So some of the more obscure material, the Elfin Knight, that are also really important if you're going to progress and move forward in incorporating sort of a fairy-based path into your witchcraft, in my opinion. And also some more complicated magical practices or advanced magical practices. Again, I kind of hate the basic versus advanced dichotomy, because I see it less in those terms and more as, it's perfectly fine to sort of stay with things that you're comfortable with, or to move forward into things that are more challenging if you want to. But that's sort of where this book is coming from. It's a lot of my own personal experiences being discussed, and my own views when it comes to what witchcraft is, what it can be, what this particular path is for people who are on it or who are interested in it. I would probably recommend at least having read Fairycraft before you get into this one, or Pagan Portal's Fairy Witchcraft, one or the other. You don't have to, but it would probably be helpful. But this comes out the end of September 2018. I'm excited for it, and hopefully everyone who reads it will like it, or at least find it somewhat valuable or interesting. I think it has some good material in it, so I hope you like it too. And it'll be out at the end of this month.